Hi guys, welcome back to some more Borderlands 4 tips, tricks, and exploits. Today we're looking at how to recover lost legendaries. Legendaries falling through the floor or off the map isn't always the end for them. After a ton of comments in my last lost loot video about the quit and reload trick, I ran a full test and recorded everything. Here's what I found out. Just a quick heads up before we get into the test. The lost loot machine is buggy, inconsistent, and slow. But if you know how it behaves, you can recover most lost legendaries. Not guaranteed, but it beats letting your gear disappear forever. Tired of Borderlands guesswork? If you want more hands-on tests like this, hit that like and I'll keep cracking it open. Here's what I confirmed so far. Any loot that is dropped will stay on the main map. These items will stay for the duration of the play session. I fast traveled all over the map, came back even hours later, the items were still there. In Borderlands 4, there are occasionally sub-boss arenas or sub-maps that require new instances to be loaded. And when you load into any of these areas, the loot on the map is cleared. When a map unloads, it wipes the loot from the floor. The loot isn't always gone. The items are shifted into a temporary file system, which eventually will cycle into your lost loot bin. But it's not guaranteed, and sometimes only part of your loot will appear. The lost loot bin works on a timer. However, this system isn't working as it should. If you leave the menu open and watch the bin, low-level gear is cycled into it first. White, then green, then blue, purple, and finally legendaries. However, for whatever reason, when you quit the game and reload it, it tricks the system into acting like it's supposed to. Now, legendaries and purples will be in your bin, and as it's emptied, lower gear will appear.
Pretend like you're trying to get past.
I ran a series of tests to see how well the quit and reload trick actually works. I dropped legendaries on the ground, recorded everything, and I tried different variations to see what would appear in the lost loot bin. Single legendaries. When I only dropped one legendary on the map, the quit and reload method brought them back to me almost every time. Multiple legendaries. One of the tests I dropped 6 legendaries, all 6 were recovered in the bin after quitting and reloading. In another test, I dropped 9 legendaries. I again tested the quit and reload method. However, this time, only 5 of them were recovered. And no matter how long I waited by the machine, none of the other ones showed up. The system is capable of scooping up gear. However, the more gear that's on the ground, it seems like it becomes more unreliable. There's no guarantee every legendary is going to make it into the bin. If you guys are going to do the quit and reload method, the bin state matters. If the bin already has gear in it, when you quit and reload, all that gear will get shuffled around, and now there'll be legendaries and purple gear. And if you leave the game with an empty loot bin, you'll come back to a game with an empty loot bin. You either have to wait for it to populate, and hopefully it has your gear in it, or it might not. Reminder, any gear you throw out of your inventory onto the ground will not be scooped up by the loot recovery bin. And this time again, the bin was duplicating lots of gear. However, I was unable to get the bin to duplicate any legendaries. Only junk tier dupes consistently showed up. And also, the machine will pick up a backlog across multiple play sessions, probably assuming there's not too much gear there. In my previous testing, I was able to recover gear from multiple game sessions, which is interesting. Alright, you just lost a god tier roll legendary off the map. How do you get it back? First, stop farming. Don't spawn any more loot on the ground. Junk will clog up the systems. Go to any lost loot machine, open it, and check whether it's full or empty. If it's full of gear, great. Open up your menu and quit the game back to the main menu and restart your current session. Doing this should force the loot machine to reorganize your loot, prioritizing the high tier loot at the top. Your legendary should be there. However, if it's not there, you can try waiting, but I've waited and waited and waited, and if it wasn't there after restarting, it never came back to the bin. It just kept giving me lower and lower tier gear. This isn't foolproof. The system is clearly buggy. But the quit and rejoin routine is the most practical and repeatable method I tested for recovering lost legendaries. And also, while testing this, I got lucky and found 3 legendary loot out of the vending machines nearby these. I never find legendaries in the vending machines. I thought that was kind of funny. And hey, if you found this helpful, drop a like, subscribe. It all helps out. Thank you. Till next time. Bye-bye.
But Stallion says hello.